When the Prussian Constitution of 1850 was declared, Prussia had become more powerful. Bismarck was then emerging as a political leader who decided to force conflicts in order to unify Germany under Prussia. Bismarck saw the Schleswig-Holstein conflict as a window of opportunity to help strengthen Prussian interest in the Germanic states.
By tradition, the duchies belonged to either Denmark or Germany. The 1462 Treaty of the Rhine stated that the duchies could never be separated. This was problematic because Holstein was very German and Schleswig was more Danish. The King of Denmark was the Danish Duke of Schleswig while also acting as the German Duke of Holstein. The Schleswig-Holstein question referred to the problem between the duchies and their governing by the Danish crown and the German Confederation. In Schleswig, the Danes followed the same line of succession as Denmark, and in Holstein, the Germans were included in the German Confederation. In Denmark, a female can inherit land and subsequently the crown through the reign of her husband. In the duchies, only males were able to inherit, which posed a problem of government and possession of land for the Danes.
The First War of Schleswig lasted from 1848 to 1852. In 1848, Frederick VII wanted Schleswig as a part of Denmark and annexed it. The Germans in Schleswig revolted. The goal was independence from Denmark and to join the German Confederation. The duchies then needed a new ruler. They wanted the Duke of Augustenburg to rule. All the Germans in both duchies revolted with the help of Prussia. A war broke out. Prussia and the duchies sided against Denmark. This war resulted in the London Convention of 1852, otherwise known as the Treaty of London. As a result, the duchies were returned to Denmark. Augustenburg was paid off to renounce his claim, and the issue was resolved for the time being. However, the son of Augustenburg returned with a vengeance for his throne. Frederick VII died in 1863, and a crisis ensued. A new constitution was declared in Denmark, which tried to incorporate Schleswig into Denmark, and subsequently violated the Treaty of the Rhine. Germans were enraged, and Bismarck saw this as an opportunity to invade Denmark and to attempt to gain popular support for his illegal government.
The Prussian War with Denmark began in 1863 and lasted through 1864. In 1863, Christian of Glucksburg assumes the throne and annexed Schleswig, thereby violating both the treaties of the Rhine and of London. The Duke of Augustenburg Jr. then made his claim to rule the duchies. Denmark was soon defeated and had to give up the territory of Schleswig and Holstein. Augustenburg is rendered useless because Bismarck restricts his power to the point where he can no longer rule. Prussia and Austria then decide to jointly administer Schleswig-Holstein.
After the war with Denmark, Schleswig and Holstein became members of the German Confederation. Austria tried to help Augustenburg, which angered the Germans. Bismarck met with Augustenburg. Augustenburg realized that he will never gain full control of the duchies. The Gastein Convention was then proposed. In 1865, this convention stated that Prussians can control Schleswig and Austrians can control Holstein. Soon, Bismarck began to see an opening for an Austro-Prussian war. Bismarck went to neutralize other powers. He started with France and then moved on to neutralize Italy as well as Russia. Austria brought the Schleswig-Holstein dispute before the German Diet and the Holstein Diet. Prussia declared that the Gastein Convention had now been nullified and invaded Holstein. Bismarck claimed that Austria had made an illegal alliance, as it was not possible to ally with a member state, and therefore destroyed the Confederation.
The Austro-Prussian War took place in 1866. Bismarck protested pro-Augustenburg activities in Holstein. Austria was accused of allying with democracy. In the June issue, Austrians met with German Confederation and were accused of allying with them. Bismarck claimed that the Gastein Convention had been violated by Austria. Prussia said that this was a provocation and invaded Holstein. At the Battle of Sadowa, the Prussians crushed Austria due to superior arms, training, and leadership. The result was the Peace of Prague of 1866. Venice was given to Italy, Austria paid an indemnity, and Schleswig and Holstein were annexed to Prussia. Austria was crushed and licking its wounds for the next half-century. The Austro-Prussian War inspired nationalism within the German Confederation.
Meanwhile in Spain, Queen Isabella of Spain was overthrown. A dispute arose involving Leopold Hohenzollerns's claim to the throne. Bismarck told the king to say that he accepted Leopold's claim, which angered France. France now had the possibility of being surrounded by two Hohenzollern kings. Napoleon decided to send his ambassador, Bendetti, to convince Willem not to support Leopold's claim to the throne. Willem agreed. Bendetti saw Willem again at Ems, and made him promise not to ever accept a Hohenzollern again as a candidate for the Spanish throne. King Willem politely refused, but agreed not to support Leopold's claim. Bismarck received a copy of this meeting, edited it, and published it as the Ems Dispatch. Bismarck made it seem like each country snubbed each other and treated each other with discourtesy. Through the Ems Dispatch, Bismarck provoked nationalism and anger. As a result, the Franco-Prussian War began.
The Franco-Prussian War began in 1870 and ended in 1871. Napoleon decided to declare war on July 19, 1870. Austria will not get involved as it is still recovering from the Austro-Prussian War. French troops are in Rome, so Italy takes Rome and assumes a position of neutrality. Bismarck invited Russia to violate the Black Sea clauses as long as they remained neutral. A short and decisive war begins, ending with the French defeat at Sedan on September 2, 1870. Napoleon was captured and the French Empire fell. The Treaty of Frankfurt was declared in 1871. The terms of the Treaty of Frankfurt were as follows. Germans took Alsace-Lorraine and imposed an indemnity of 5 billion francs for France. A German occupation of France was also imposed. France became a third republic, guaranteeing that they would be isolated from monarchies. In 1871, the German Reich was declared at Versailles.
The conflict with Denmark over Schleswig-Holstein, as well as the wars between Austria and Prussia and France and Prussia, are sometimes referred to as the Wars of German Unification, because without them, perhaps the German Reich would have never been established at Versailles in 1871. In the wake of these wars, Bismarck, the champion of traditional Prussia, was bestowed retrospective immunity from his unconstitutional actions, and was able to ascend as the foremost political leader of Prussia until the end of the 19th century. These wars had a great legacy for Prussia. They inspired nationalism within all the Germanic states. Prussians and Austrians began to feel a sense of kinship. They also made Prussia and the Germanic states more cohesive militarily as well as politically.